General Hospital spoilers for Monday, April 28th. Predictions. Molly Lansing Davis dashed across the vast lobby, her heart pounding like a drum. Just minutes earlier, she had stumbled upon a stack of official documents hidden under a loose board in Alexis Davis's private desk, a trove of psychiatric evaluations, consent forms, and handwritten notes bearing her mother's unmistakable signature. As the papers fluttered to the ground in Molly's desperate grip, each one seemed to whisper a single, horrifying truth. Alexis was orchestrating a plan to commit Christina to a mental institution. Molly's mind spun with disbelief. Her mother, Alexis, the fierce, unbreakable lioness of a woman who had fought tooth and nail for her children's happiness, could be capable of such cold betrayal? Yet there it was in black and white, assessments declaring Christina a danger to herself and others, red-stamped authorizations ready to be submitted to the state's psychiatric board, a timeline outlined for involuntary commitment. The motive was murky, but the implication was clear. Christina, Molly's sister and closest friend, was being set up for institutionalization. Heart-hammering, Molly gathered the papers as if they were incendiary devices about to detonate. She slunk down the hallway, telling herself she needed Christina's help to understand what was happening and maybe, somehow, to stop it. Each footstep echoed off the mahogany walls, heightening her anxiety. Her palms felt slick with sweat. What if she was misreading the situation? What if Alexis had a legitimate reason, something she could explain once confronted? But deep down, Molly knew better. Alexis didn't hide her actions. Yet here, hidden in the shadows of her office, was a conspiracy worthy of a thriller novel. Christina Corinthos Davis was in her own world at the Quartermain mansion, having spent the morning trying to untangle the threads of Ava Jerome's latest scheme. Her blue eyes, ordinarily so vivacious and brimming with fire, were clouded with worry. Rumors had swirled that Ava was putting unbearable pressure on Alexis, blackmailing her mother with threats to expose some damning secret. Christina, never one to stand idly by, had confronted Ava in no uncertain terms, but the skeletons in her mother's closet had remained stubbornly sealed. She had every reason to believe the blackmailer's targets would be those dearest to Alexis, perhaps even herself. A sudden knock at the door startled Christina out of her reverie. Before she could respond, Molly burst into the room, eyes wild, cheeks flushed. She thrust the documents into Christina's hands. "Mom's trying to commit you," she cried. "She's filed everything. Look at this, she's planning to send you away." Christina's breath caught in her throat as she rifled through the papers. For a heartbeat, the world tilted. Her name, her details, her darkest moments documented as clinical evidence. This can't be real," she whispered, voice trembling. Yet the bold, official stamps left no room for doubt. Together, sisters bound by secrets and love, they stormed toward Alexis's office. Molly's mind raced ahead, imagining the confrontation, the explosion of voices, Alexis's proud head held high, Christina's fierce rebuttal, Molly's tears of betrayal. The hallway stretched endlessly before them, but nothing could break their determined pace. When they flung open the office door, Alexis looked up from her desk, surprise flickering across her composed features. The papers lay scattered on the mahogany surface, ominous testimony to her clandestine plans. "Molly, what is the meaning of this?" she demanded, rising gracefully to her full height. Molly's voice cracked with hurt. "You're trying to commit Christina. All these forms, they're signed by you. What's going on?" Alexis's eyes darted to Christina, who stood rigidly beside her sister, fury building behind her gaze. "Molly, you don't understand." Christina cut her off, stepping forward. "Oh, I think I understand perfectly. Ava Jerome wants me locked up, and you're helping her. How could you, Mother?" Alexis's shoulders sagged ever so slightly, as if burdened by a weight too heavy to bear. She inhaled deeply. "Ava has threatened to ruin me, to destroy everything I've built. She's blackmailing me. She wants to send Christina to prison for a crime she didn't commit. I tried to find another way, to buy myself time, to protect you both. But yes, I signed those papers as a precaution. A tremor ran through Christina's frame. You signed them as a precaution? You'd rather send your own daughter to an asylum than face Ava head-on. My children's safety is my top priority, Alexis insisted, her voice firm yet quivering. If I believe Christina is in danger, if I don't act swiftly, Ava will win. You have to see that. Molly's chest tightened. How could her mother fail to see the betrayal in her own hands? You don't get to decide if Christina's crazy, Molly spat. And you can't pretend you're doing this for our safety when you're the one putting those plans in motion. Alexis's eyes darted between her daughters, anguish and resolve warring within her. Finally, she closed her eyes for a moment, then spoke. I'm sorry, my loves. I truly am. But I did what I thought was best. Christina's lips curled into a snarl. You think this is best? You'd be willing to destroy my life on a whim? All because Ava Jerome is twisting your arm. Alexis hesitated, then pushed a file across the desk toward them. Ava has leverage. She wants something huge, something that involves Christina going away. I thought if I had this option in my back pocket, maybe I could protect you both from worse fates. We're smarter than that, Christina hissed, snatching the file. We can't let Ava, or anyone, decide our fate like puppets. If you really want to protect us, tell us the truth. Tell us why Ava is blackmailing you, and then we'll decide how to handle her. Alexis sank into her chair, head in her hands. After a long, shuddering breath, she confessed, voice low and ragged, Ava found out about a terrible mistake Christina made, an accident that left Rick Lansing gravely injured. She's been threatening to expose it unless I do exactly as she says. I thought I could buy time, slow things down. But I never meant to hurt you, Christina. All at once, the room went deathly silent. Molly stared at Christina, realization dawning on her. She had no idea her sister was responsible for their father's accident. If she had known, would she have joined Christina in condemning the plot? Would she want her imprisoned, too, to protect her and punish the betrayal in one fell swoop? The question tore at her heart, and she fought back tears, torn between loyalty to her sister and righteousness that demanded accountability. Christina's eyes, usually so bright, were cold and hard. So, that's it, she said quietly. I thought I could keep my nightmares buried. But you dragged me out into the open, Mom. And if Ava uses this to put me in prison, I'll have only myself to blame. Alexis rose, trembling. I love you both. We'll find another way, one that doesn't destroy our family. Molly stepped forward, hand on her mother's arm. We'll figure it out together, she whispered, though doubt gnawed at her. How to untangle this web before it strangled them all. Half a world away, in a stately hospital suite in Berlin, Willow Tate Corinthos paced the room like a caged tiger. The sterile walls did little to calm her racing heart. She had flown across continents to see Michael Corinthos, her ex-husband, the father of her child, only to be met with cold dismissal. When she had arrived unannounced, hoping for a chance to speak, she was turned away by Michael's personal physician, who stood at the door with an implacable expression. Miss Tate, he had said, polite but firm. Mr. Corinthos is not seeing visitors at this time. I'm afraid you'll have to leave. Willow had pleaded, tears blurring her vision. Please. Just 5 minutes. I have important news he needs to hear. But the doctor would not budge. I'm sorry. So Willow, voice trembling with desperation, left a voicemail on Jason Morgan's phone. Jason, I need your help. Michael's shutting me out. Will you talk to him? Please. She pressed send, then stared at the phone, hoping for a response. In Port Charles, Carly Spencer stood in the Corinthos living room, arms crossed, fury coiled like a spring. She had intercepted Jason's phone call, Willow's plea for Jason to intercede on her behalf with Michael. Carly had always considered Willow a threat, A specter from Michael's past suddenly reappearing to stir old emotions at the most vulnerable time of his life. Michael was due to undergo a major procedure in the coming days, and Carly refused to allow Willow any foothold. Jason arrived minutes later, looking grim. "Carly, Willow called me. She flew to Berlin to see Michael." Carly's jaw tightened. "And you told her no?" "I didn't," Jason said, rubbing the back of his neck. "She asked me to ask Michael to see her. But she's his ex, Car." "My husband is off limits," Carly interrupted, her voice steel-edged. "If you help Willow, you're betraying me. Michael doesn't need more distractions. He needs to focus on recovery." Jason opened his mouth, then closed it. He knew Carly was right. Michael's emotional state would be critical in the days ahead, but he also believed Willow deserved a chance to speak, to explain herself, to heal old wounds. Yet he would not risk Carly's fragile trust, or add tension to an already volatile household. "I'm sorry, Willow," he finally whispered into his phone, "but I can't help." He ended the call, and a profound sadness washed over him, both for Willow, stranded in a foreign country, and for the chasm opening between him and Carly. Back in Port Charles, Sonny Corinthos leaned against the polished hurricane glass of his penthouse balcony, watching the sun dip below the skyline. Carrie Spencer had just informed him of her plan to identify and trap the woman who had masqueraded as a nurse, an assassin in disguise who had nearly taken Sonny's life. Carly was insistent. She would find the hiding place, expose the imposter, and ensure justice was served. Sonny respected Carly's determination, but he cautioned her against unnecessary risks. "We're already on high alert," he told her, voice low and measured. "My security detail is combing every inch of that record. If the woman's out there, we'll catch her." Carly's eyes flashed. "I'm not leaving it to chance. You know her methods. She's cunning, slippery. I want to pin her down myself." Sonny sighed, concern tugging at him. "Just be careful," he said. "I can't bear to lose you too." Carly managed a tight smile. Sonny's worry betrayed the depth of his feelings, a rare vulnerability he seldom showed. She reached for his hand, resting her head against his shoulder for a fleeting moment of solace before turning back to the task at hand. They would set their trap together, a calculated snare designed to lure the killer out of the shadows. And when the moment came, they would finally bring her to justice. At General Hospital, an altogether different plot was unfolding. Nina Reeves paced the hallway outside Portia Robinson's office, her usually elegant posture laced with impatience. Down the corridor, Portia, a formidable attorney turned district attorney, strode into her office, steeling herself for the meeting ahead. Nina's voice had been urgent, her motives clear. Drew Kane, once a trusted ally, had become a loose cannon, threatening to expose secrets that could bring ruin to both their lives. If they didn't act fast, he would destroy them. Portia had weighed the risks. She knew the stakes. If their plan failed, both she and Nina would face disgrace and possibly incarceration. But the alternative was unacceptable. Drew's vendetta against his former pumpkin patch partner had escalated into extortion, coercion, and threats to spill everything he knew. Nina and Portia needed to neutralize him before he could blink. "You understand what's at stake?" Portia asked, leaning forward, elbows on her mahogany desk. The papers before them detailed their trap, a staged chance meeting, a false document designed to lure Drew into confessing his crimes, hidden microphones to record his admission. Nina nodded, her brow furrowed. "If it works, Drew's done for. He'll be begging for a plea deal he can't refuse. And I'll finally be rid of his blackmail." Portia exhaled. "Then let's proceed." She slid the prepared folder across the desk. "Memorize the details. We set this in motion tomorrow evening at the boathouse, when Drew thinks he's meeting to discuss a potential business comeback." Nina lifted the folder, her lips curling in a mixture of anticipation and fear. "If this works, Portia, we'll have this behind us for good." "And if it doesn't," Portia trailed off, eyes cold. They both knew the price of failure. Headlines screaming corruption, prison cells waiting to swallow them whole. Still, they had no choice. Meanwhile, in the Quartermain mansion, nestled along the banks of the harbor, a storm of a different sort was brewing. Brooke Lynn Quartermain, usually so effervescent and quick with a quip, sat at the grand piano in the music room, fingertips hovering over the keys as though summoned by some haunting melody. But there would be no music today. Her mind was choked with secrets she could no longer carry alone. Dante Falconeri, Brooke Lynn's husband, stormed into the room, eyes blazing. "You lied to me," he accused, voice tight with betrayal. "You never told me about the baby." Brooke Lynn's cheeks flushed. She closed her eyes, took a trembling breath. "Dante, please. Please? You carried our child in secret? And you didn't think I deserved to know." His hands clenched at his sides. "Where's our baby? Who has him?" Brooke Lynn's voice cracked. I don't know. When I was pregnant, things were chaotic. I gave birth in secret for my own reasons, but I never meant to abandon him. I thought I could find him on my own, but I haven't been able to." Before Dante could respond, Lulu Spencer, Brooke Lynn's close friend and Dante's confidant, burst into the room. "Stop it," Lulu said, tone fierce. "Dante, calm down. Brooke Lynn, if you'll tell me everything you know about where the baby was born, I can help find him." Brooke Lynn met Lulu's gaze, desperation shining in her eyes. "They told me the maternity ward at St. Anne's Hospital, but I don't know which day. I lost the paperwork." Lulu's expression softened. "We'll get it, I promise. Whatever it takes." As the trio huddled together, plotting how to unearth Brooke Lynn's lost past, the true identity of the child lay hidden. The baby was none other than Giovanni Gio Quartermain, the little boy everyone thought was the child of another lineage. Lulu, always dogged in her detective work, would eventually connect the dots, and when she did, Lois Quartermain, Brooke Lynn's formidable mother, would face the fiercest questioning of her life.